FM. And that music you're listening to, I witnessed being developed, recorded by our friends here in the studio. So welcome to the Movie Muse. We're here also on Facebook Live on the Movie Muse. Also streaming at kpca.fm. So why don't you tell us what's the name of the song or the beat? Have you named it?
So this beat is currently called KPCA Beat. For this show.
Ah,
good one.
I like that. KPCA Beat. Maybe we'll make this a regular Movie Muse theme. Somebody had mentioned I needed to have theme music. So, well, welcome everyone. For those of you who are new to the Movie Muse, I'm Naomi Takeuchi, and I'm here in the studio. Somebody needs to turn their echo off. It's like, I'm hearing myself twice.
Hello, hello.
Okay, so we have in the studio today Katy Zincavage with Healing Energy Unlimited. Hi. You need to mute your phone,
I did.
my friend. Okay.
I just did. Okay. Sorry.
So we have Katy in the studio here.
I'm not a techie like everybody in here.
Well, that's okay. We still love you.
Yeah, okay.
And so Katy here is with Healing Energy Unlimited at Roanoke Park. And she does psychic readings every first and third Thursday of the month. So if you get a chance, you can call in.
On this show.
On this show. In fact, we also have a dial-in number for anybody who wants to dial in. 707-981-7577 in case you want to chat with anybody in the studio here. So we also have with us Tanner Samples, as well as Alex Happy, and we have Walter Isaac. So I'll have a chance to introduce you a little bit more, but thank you for coming into the studio today. It's been quite the adventure over the last few days. And for those of you who are new to the Movie Muse, I always start my show with a review of 2 movies, or a few. And I had a chance to see 2 of them, and I know some of the members in the studio, you got to see Glass, or at least you know the history of Glass, right? So we'll talk about that one second. So the first one that I want to show everybody, so now that I'm on Facebook Live, we can show movie posters. Woo!
Ooh.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys follow the How to Train Your Dragon series. Do you follow it?
No.
No?
Only
You guys
slightly.
not into animation?
I do like animation. More so, I would say the only reason I would know How to Train Your Dragon is from me working at a daycare.
Oh,
A lot of the kids
really?
loved this.
Yeah, this is a great movie for animation, and especially what I love about this whole series is it has to do with Vikings.
Ooh.
Vikings are cool.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I think, with the helmets and the armor and, the battle scenes, and considering it's animation, you usually don't get a whole lot of that. And there's dragons. I mean, what's there not to like about this?
You gotta
right?
like dragons.
You gotta like dragons. So, as you could tell, I'm already a fan of this series to begin with, but I think this particular one, what was interesting is that it's almost like the close of the series. And as much as you don't like to see a trilogy end, you had How to Train Your Dragon and then How to Train Your Dragon 2, and this one's called Hidden World. So if you have a chance to watch it, and no spoilers, by the way, I should have mentioned to our guests as we talk about this, no spoilers, okay? Because some of our listeners may want to view this. So I had a chance to see this as a pre-screening, for a special pre-screening, because it's actually not out in theaters for, I think, until next week. So we still have a few more. In fact, next week is also exciting because the Lego 2 movie is coming out.
That's right.
Yeah.
Everything is awesome.
Everything is
Oh,
awesome. Exactly.
The first one was actually surprisingly good.
Oh, yeah, most-
Surprisingly good.
I was like 22. I wasn't expecting to be like emotionally invested in the Lego movie.
Yeah. And you might, I know you two are sharing a mic, so you might have to, they're directional mics, so I know you guys are audio engineers, so you just have to, so everybody can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
But, so going back to the movie, How to Train Your Dragon, as many of you know about Toothless is the black dragon here that's in this series, and Toothless continues on the journey with Hiccup, the main character. And I think what's interesting about this is that they have a really nice way of integrating this new character, the Light Fury. So the Black Fury, the Night Fury, and the Light Fury. I don't think she actually has a name, now that I think about it.
That's her name.
Just Light Fury?
Yeah, I
That's
think
what
so.
they said in like the commercial. Or like
Seriously.
Well,
Yeah,
the other one's
I
called
think it is.
Toothless.
Well, that's okay.
So
It's animation.
Is it like a denture wearing
That-
dragon?
well, I can't give you spoilers because you haven't seen the series, but let's just say that what's kind of cool about this is that Toothless they thought was the last of his kind, and then they see the Light Fury, and so that kind of starts along the journey about these two characters. I think one of the cool things about now the technology is that the animation is just so good. The opening scene starts with a battle on the ocean in fog, which just trying to do that in live action is hard enough, but then to do it also in animation is just it was pretty phenomenal. So and they had a lot of battle scenes. So if you can imagine lots of dragons flying around, lots of Vikings throwing armor and different kinds of weapons
Kind of
around.
like the anime.
Yeah,
So
we've gone to a couple of anime
Nice.
shows, so that's why Katy is a good great go-to person for this. So
Yeah.
when I was looking at this, I mean the other thing that's really cool because I don't give away spoilers, but I could talk about things in the movie poster, for example. So if you notice that in this movie poster, if you can kind of see it, they're in a cave. So you notice that they're in a cave, and that Hiccup has this sword that's on fire. So some of the special effects, whenever anybody pulls out a sword that just bursts into flames, that you got to be impressed by that. So I think the animation is pretty cool.
Which is neat.
This whole thing about this, and it's called the Hidden World. So this hidden world with caves and waterfalls and all of the mystery around that, I think they did a really good job. And the other thing, because movies always have conflict, they always have a protagonist, and Hiccup has to face being a leader of his tribe. You know, that there's a lot of things that come into his life. Like I said, I'm trying not to give us spoilers, especially if you haven't seen the other two movies. And that when he faces those, how does he rise up to the occasion? So it's always great to see somebody who feels like they're beaten down, and then they rise up, and then they do a good job for that. So I would say for the kids, this movie, it was absolutely packed for a pre-release movie. And I would say probably half the theater or more were kids in there. Yeah, I was always the weird one that's there all by myself because I'm a movie reviewer.
Yeah, it's okay. You were on business.
Yes, I'm doing this. I get to write these off as a business expense. And in fact, I always walk in and they go, "Oh, you're by yourself?" It's kind of like, yes, I'm by myself. Thank you very much. I don't have children with me, no.
Now, do you get to put that on your tax return?
Actually, I do.
Right.
I don't get paid to do this. So I don't get paid to be on the radio. I do this because I love doing it. It's a lot of fun. But in order to do this job, I have to go see movies.
Yeah.
And so that's a legitimate expense for what I have to do here. So, and now if I can figure out a way to, work in flights to LA or visits with special, stars.
It's gotta be doable.
Eventually. And you're an entrepreneur, so you know that...
I just learned I can write off concert tickets and
Yes.
stuff, because that's a networking event.
Absolutely. And we'll get to the full introduction in just a second after we finish the movie reviews. So this is a DreamWorks movie. They always do such a great job with the animation. If you're taking a date, great date movie because it's a feel-good movie and something lighthearted, not like going to Boy Erased that I reviewed last week. A real dark movie. It's like, probably don't want to take a date to that. And I think that in general, it was a pretty good storyline, very entertaining. I never felt bored. So I'd give this a 4 out of 5 stars for anybody who wants to go to do this. Great for your kids. Great little lighthearted movie. And this is a good segue. In fact, are you doing readings, Katy, or are you...
Right now?
Well, I wasn't sure if you're doing readings for the Oscars, or maybe we should do a reading for the Super Bowl. Because the other thing that was kind of cool is that we got three people in the studio who I was so excited. You guys were very stoked to be here, and I'm thinking, boy, they don't even want to watch the Super Bowl. I'm more excited about the Super Bowl. I was really bummed to see the Rams are behind. At least they were the last time I checked. So they were behind 3-0 because, the Patriots, we're tired of the Patriots,
Oh.
It's kind of like, come on, we need another team. Plus, we got to cheer for California because we're all
Yes.
Californians here. Well, I know you're from Atlanta, so...
Yes.
So, but we call
That's
you an
okay, we
honorary
still like you.
Californian. So now that you're
At
here,
heart.
yeah, at heart. Okay, so now let's go to the second movie because this one, and this is kind of how we started the conversation about why the three of you are here. And Katy, of course, is always here because she's part of the KPCA family. And the second movie I wanted to talk about was Glass. Now here's the movie poster, which I think is a very, very cool movie poster. And when I was talking to Tanner and to Walter, because I know, Alex, you're not in our class, but I was talking to the two of you about how this movie is freaking amazing. It is, yeah. You have Samuel L. Jackson, Bruce Willis, and James McAvoy all in the same film.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, they took the breakable or unbreakable genre or the storyline.
Yeah.
That was the original one. In fact, I was talking to Jeff Trier here, who
Oh,
works
yeah.
here at KPCA, and he says, yeah, I was waiting for the sequel to come out. I said, you do realize that Unbreakable came out in 2000, right? It's been 18 years for the sequel to come out.
This
18
is it.
and 19 years for it to actually
Yeah.
come out.
Naomi asked me if I had seen Unbreakable. I was like, oh, you mean Kimmy Schmidt?
Like, no.
Oh, that's
So-
right.
So Unbreakable,
Unbreakable.
yeah, Unbreakable came out in 2000, and Bruce Willis was in it, as well as Samuel L. Jackson,
Mhm.
and the whole storyline of those two characters combined with Split, which was fairly recent. That was only 3 years ago. And that's the James McAvoy, where this multiple personality abducts these girls and how they have to survive, with that. So it was great seeing these three amazing actors all together, and to take M. Night Shyamalan's stories, these two stories that are merged together into this last one. And so did anybody watch this? You said you watched a portion of it, right, Alex?
Yeah, it was really interesting. I was kind of confused because I hadn't seen Unbreakable or Split. But
Right.
the dude who played the multiple personalities.
Yeah,
guy,
James
like,
McAvoy. He's
Man.
phenomenal.
Yeah, every time
Yeah.
he changed up, it was
Yeah.
really convincing. Like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that's, I think, one of the key things about this movie. I think if James McAvoy wasn't in this, it would be very hard for this movie
Yeah.
to have been done. I mean, there are a lot of really good actors, but he just transforms himself between all of these. And if you watch until the end of the credits, he plays 23 characters, actually 24 characters.
24.
wow.
And they list all of the names of the characters and then his name next to
It
it.
is a solid page of.
A solid page
It
of
is.
James McAvoy playing all of these characters. And you only see glimpses of some of them and you see more of them of the others. But I think this whole idea, and I just like also, if you look at the movie poster and how Glass has the fragments.
That's cool.
And so you see that they
Good
put
visual.
James McAvoy in the center of this movie poster
Mhm.
with, the glass shattered.
Perfect.
And the glass is also significant in the movie, no spoilers. But Samuel L. Jackson does a really great job in deceiving people with who he is because he's truly a mastermind in this. And there's several twists. I don't know how long you stayed in the movie, but there's some significant twists in this movie that you've got to wait for. And
Yes.
yeah.
I think I'm gonna watch Unbreakable and
Yes.
Split, and then come back.
Go
to
back
it
and
so
watch
I
it
know
again.
What's going on a little more?
Yeah, I think that's the hard thing about these movies too, is that when you do a sequel, and if you haven't seen the earlier movies, trying to get everybody up to speed about what has happened in the previous ones. But if you do see all three of them, then they just match perfectly. And that's the other thing which I think is cool about this movie poster, is that it almost looks like a puzzle, and like a set of puzzle pieces all coming together.
Which is the movie.
Which is the movie.
Yeah.
Exactly. So brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. As far as a rating, this isn't Oscar material,
No.
though Black Panther was. But this,
That's different.
even though for a superhero kind of movie, and this is kind of superhero and villain combined. So, but I would say it's entertaining. It's a great movie to go see with a bunch of friends. As far as little kids, maybe you might want to wait for your kids to be a little bit older for this movie because there's a lot of violent references, but it's not blood and gore, so it's more of PG-13. So for me, I'd still give this a 4 out of 5. It's still entertaining enough and I'd want to go see all the other movies again too. So really fun times.
It's good. Yeah. And the surprises are great.
Right.
Because I only saw Unbreakable. I didn't see Split. But it made me want to go, I want to go see it. Split. But I could follow along, with these surprises. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Well, I just realized, what's really great about having the Facebook Live is that I realized that I didn't have you guys on the program channel. So a lot of what, in fact, let's play that music one more time. So then that way people could actually hear the music. Well, what's nice is that this belongs to you too.
Yeah.
Because we have some copyright issues, where we can't play full songs, but it's a beat. So yeah, go for it.
All right. So this is KPCA Beat by Tanner Samples, AwaBeats, and Benzo Vibin.
Yo.
So thank you for sharing that with everybody, and you can now say it has been played over the radio waves on 103.3 FM. Yeah, first radio play.
Very good.
And in fact, we
Great
do
music.
record these, so I'll make sure to send that to you. But I will say that I didn't have the program because we were testing the levels earlier. So the earlier part of the show, but now we can say it's officially played on the radio, and that's. You named it KPCA?
Yes, I did name it KPCA Beats for
KPCA
reference.
Beats.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So update, the game is tied.
Oh, is it?
That's what I know.
3 and 3? Oh, that's awesome. So for those of you just tuning in, this is Naomi Takeuchi on the Movie Muse. And I'm here in the studio. And let me introduce some of our guests. So I've already, let me just mention once again, Katy Zincavage, who's in the studio today. She's my buddy. We go to anime movies together, typically. And she's in the studio. She'll be here Thursday at 10 o'clock. So for those of you who want to get a psychic reading, you can do that. In fact, we're leaving it open if the three of you want to get a psychic reading while you're here.
Oh.
We can do that.
Actually.
You are down for
Absolutely.
that?
Yeah.
Okay, well, cool. So let me go ahead, and for those of you who are watching, I'm going to start with Walter here, who's right in front. And so Walter, who has been, he also goes by Awa, which we'll have you talk about that story. But Walter Awa Isaac IV. So he's a local Petaluma music producer, and he was raised in Fairburn, Georgia, and he got his musical influence from jazz, gospel, soul, and the Atlanta infamous genre of trap music.
Yes.
Now you're going to have to explain that
Cool.
Oh, of course.
to everybody, but so he was into trap music, and then moving to California, he'd become increasingly interested in working as an audio technician and a music producer, and he's now known as AwaBeats. So it goes back to having a producer name. So AwaBeats is here, and he strives to continue his journey as a producer and doesn't plan on stopping, which is awesome. So thank you, welcome for being here. Now, okay, you have to explain, what is trap music? For those of us who have no idea what trap music. What is trap music?
Well, trap is it's actually a section of hip hop.
Okay.
And how Louisiana has its infamous bounce music, and you have different styles. How Bay Area has the specific type of synth they use, and it's like very specific, like Bay Area and like Vallejo type vibes. But for trap music in Atlanta, it's a special type of production style for especially using the hi-hat, snares, and the kick, where a certain pattern is utilized for like triple hi-hats, and stuttering
And
hi-hats.
for those of you who don't know what a triple hi-hat is, I'm assuming that's a drum type.
Yes.
Right?
It's
like a snare drum, but taller?
It's a rhythm.
It's a rhythm.
It's a rhythm, okay.
So usually everything, most songs and stuff is played in fours. The same is applied to that, but instead of it, being a simple, 1 and 3 on the kick, and the 2 and a 4 on the snare, and then every other every beat is going to be for the hi-hat. The idea is usually you have like 1, 2, 3, and then on that fourth, instead of just going 1, 2, 3, 4, it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Ah.
Yeah, we got compound meter up in here. Don't ever say hip hop's not complex.
Well, I'm still learning all this. In fact, when I was in their studio, I kept asking questions about what was happening, and also, I think that the three of you have known each other. Did you all meet at Santa Rosa Junior College, or how did you three meet?
I don't know about them two, but I met Tanner. We took the same class last year.
Right.
And that's how I met him.
Right. And I met the two of you through a Santa Rosa Junior College class.
And
that's why you're here, right? So.
And Alex and I actually met at the same class as Walter. And we all met in that class.
Yeah, and then Tanner's last name was Samples, and mine is Happy. And then,
Happy
right
Samples.
away, we were like, we should just work together.
Yeah. In fact, I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's part of your bio too. So Alex Happy, who's here, he's actually the owner of TempoBright Entertainment. And for those of you who watched me post on KPCA's Facebook page, I posted a little bit of you, the three of you, plus two other guys who are in the studio, and then me, who I'm just filming. I didn't do any work. I can tell you right there. I was just watching and observing. And so and it was really great just watching the interaction between the five of you, because we had Benzo Vibin, who was on the keyboard. I think you and Walter were both at the, what do you call that, the main control station?
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it.
Main control station, and then you had Shane in the back talking about, yeah, we need some scoop in there, and I'm like, going, okay, whatever scoop is, it's like, and he's like even like making the gesture, and then Alex is in the back waving to the camera, so he's like, okay, she's filming, I better wave, yeah.
How to act natural.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun, because you could tell that the five of you have done this several times, it seems, that you guys are, you'll find a beat that you like, and then somebody says, oh, let's overlay this other melody on top of it, and I know you don't call it a melody, what do you call it?
Yeah, we would definitely use that word to describe.
Oh, you would? I didn't think that was hip enough.
Yeah, melody, chords.
Oh, okay. See, I thought it was something, more trendy.
There's a lot of things, in there, like, it's a lot of languages, and half the time we all understand what we're telling each other, or usually
like when you were talking about half kick, and I was like going, okay, I'm not even going to ask, because I have no clue. and poor Tanner, I kept asking, okay, so what's the difference between a beat and a sample and a track?
Yeah, beat and a track. She asked if you make an instrumental, does it become a track? And I think that we the producers in the room were coming to the conclusion that it, in fact, is not necessarily a track. We would call a beat that a rapper or a singer hit definitely would be a track. And I know Awa has some EPs out, some mixtapes that are all instrumentals.
I'm anxious to look at that too and listen.
So would you call those tracks, since they are kind of like standalone?
Yeah,
work?
I would say that, if anything, like at the same time, it's like double edged at the same time. You can say, yo, I got this track for you, come listen to it.
Right.
And then you can also say, I have this beat for you.
Mm-hmm.
And generally the idea is more when you say beat, because once it's a track, like we made a track together.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets thrown around, but the idea is, usually it's a beat. And in my case, I would probably call it, a track, because my point right now is, I mainly create just instrumentals and lo-fi music and a lot of...
Then those are the beats that we were talking about. Because the definition that I took away was that the beat is like the instrumental, kind of the bed. Mm-hmm. And then you'd have the rapper who would come on top of that. And then the combination of those two would be the track.
Right,
exactly.
Right?
I would say it's a track once it's done.
Once it's done. Well, see, now that we have a KPCA beat, we need to just, Katy and I could rap on top of that.
I like it.
KPCA.
You should, rap our psychic readings.
Yeah. Oh my god, that would be so funny.
My brother
would be hilarious.
It would be great. I can use your music and my brother's music. Yeah, cool.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Speaks out only the truth in those bars.
Well, we'll have to see what comes out. We have actually a lot of DJs that are programmers here, and they specialize in different things. So, for example, I know that one of our programmers does Beatles music, and that they do samples of Beatles stuff all the time. Now, isn't there some issue that if, with copyright, that if you take a certain portion, that's okay if you mix it and it becomes your own? Or how does that work?
I was going to say there's generally a rule. I feel like it's like a few bars is fine, but technically there's no solid line. If you change it enough so no one notices, then you're cool. Basically,
exactly what I was gonna get at.
Right.
If you try to get away with it until somebody calls you on it. But that being said, if you're trying to release, if you're gonna put your music out on SoundCloud and you don't really plan on it being a commercial track, then you don't really need to care so much about whether your sample is cleared or not. But if you're going for the whole Spotify, iTunes route, or especially if you're gonna sell a beat to an artist who wants to put out their music on those mediums, then you want to make sure your samples are clear.
Exactly.
Well, the other person who I hope you get to meet sometime is Dominic Del Bene, because he does something called Origin Stories, where he'll take an artist, like he did a whole show on Snoop Dogg, and how Snoop Dogg took different samples from other artists and put them together, and then some other artists would take samples of his and create other things. And so it seems like there's like a melding of the different, I guess, melodies and tunes that you can just continue to put.
And I would say that's a big part of at least hip hop as a genre, because generally a lot of stuff in the art sense is just created naturally and just made up on its own. But for instance, for a lot of hip hop now, and especially even going in the '90s, especially when MPCs and beat machines were finally being brought in, a lot of people were, taking influence from, their childhood, this is what I listened to.
Right.
And even with the production of hip hop, for Grandmaster Flash, who was a DJ at the time, when he first created hip hop, he got his song from the Apache drum line. And he made that breakbeat, and that's what started the whole entire hip hop genre actually itself. And
now, when you say Apache drumline, you're talking about the Apache Nation, the Indian Nation?
It was it was a certain disco band actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
because if you talk to a programmer, there's also Apache, which is used for websites.
Exactly.
So
so it's a little confusing. So being more specific, the song, the one song, Jump On It, they use that same drum break, and that's how they got that song because if you look back to the history of it, it came from one certain song.
Right.
Yeah.
My brother was telling me that it's years ago, and I don't know if the laws have changed, but that you could only use so many seconds or minutes.
Yeah, I think it's 20
and
seconds.
then you can just keep using it, and then they can't bother you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about public domain that I think you can have certain portions of a song, but you can't have the entire song.
Yeah.
But it's always great just
they make great songs from
even myself for the EPs I've released, I've sadly I got one of them taken down due to the fact that I didn't cut it enough and I didn't actually do the cutting of the sample correctly. So that one song that if you actually bought it originally, you would have the full album, which was I think 13 songs, which my friend did. And then I had to redo it, and now it's 12.
Oh.
And he's like, you know, I got the special one because he bought it originally when it was actually 13, and he has it, stuff like that.
And is that Spotify that you had to take it down from?
It was actually like I was off all of them. I had to fix it. I had to take that one out that was, you know, messed up because, you know, I didn't have the time to fix the issue. So I released it back out, and it went back to Spotify, iTunes, and everywhere else. And that's the one issue I would say, like, you got to be very careful because even I forget the artist's name. He did the song, I think, Blurred Lines, and he got, I think, that song in trouble for actually not mixing it correctly and not actually sampling it right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then...
So there's a technique to doing all the sampling, and I was watching you guys, and you have your own language, and then... So I'm just curious, when you guys are going to school, and, I mean, some of this you already knew before you went to school, right? So what is it that you know, if you're getting started in this, because there's some people who are listening who might be saying, how do I get started in getting a, you know, hip-hop type of beat put together?
If you're an aspiring producer, rapper, if you're in the hip-hop genre, I would recommend being your own teacher, going on YouTube as often as you can, and making that a habit. You know, instead of watching TV, just watch a tutorial on how to do the you know, the thing that you like. You know, like find your content creators that make good videos that help you out.
Right.
I would also say, like, how I learned is my buddy just gave me the software one time when I was getting into, like, going to, like, underground raves and stuff. And I would come back and be like, how do I make this? And finally someone gave me Fruity Loops. And
I was just going to ask you, you said FL Studios in your bio.
And
Fruity Loops.
It's really
Fruity Loops.
For just getting started, because you can take already pre-made drum beats that are public domain and chop them up and really just mess around, make weird noises for as long as you want. There's
it's just
infinite
like cooking,
sounds.
right? You just kind of take things from different places and mix them up together.
And at the end of the day, you have your own unique style, hopefully.
Exactly.
Right, and then so since you were talking about Fruity Loops, so you mentioned in your bio that when you were 15 that you got this version of Fruity Loops and that you got hooked on that, and then you went to college to become a psychiatrist. And then you said, no way, I'm not going to do that.
I have anxiety disorders, so I was reading the DSM, whatever, and everything I read about I thought I had, and then I started thinking in terms of mental illnesses when I was watching people, and it just, I don't know, it kind of just felt dehumanizing, and then I would go to the audio classes and be like, this is what I want to do, and then finally I was like, whether the money comes or not, I'm going to go for it, you know?
Well, I have to say I have a lot of respect for that because I'm an entrepreneur too, and a lot of it is just faith. You just have to have faith in what you're doing, and you got to love what you're doing too. And I could tell just when I was there that you guys are really into it. And,
that was so fun making that beat.
Yeah, it was great. And like I said, I had nothing to do with it. I was just really just a fly on the wall. You know, maybe the only inspiration was KPCA was part of it. So I brought that. I helped name it.
You were the spark name.
I was the muse. I was the muse for this. I'm a muse of music. So now you also mentioned here that so you were getting into these audio engineering classes at Santa Rosa Junior College, and that's when you met Tanner, and that, you know, Happy and Samples, and then he said, well, we got to work together. Now, how long have you two been working together now?
I don't know. When was Jake's class? I feel like 2 years now. Almost like a year and a half.
50A?
Oh, yeah.
2 years ago.
Okay, yeah, so 2 years ago, and we started out just hanging out and rapping after class. And then one day, Alex hit me up with an amazing proposal.
Yeah, so my buddy came back.
I was going to say, whoa, okay. You know we're on the air.
Living happily ever after.
Oh, it's not that kind of show.
Okay. I was going to say.
So,
there's a reason why he's not a psychiatrist.
There's probably a few. Basically, my friend hit me up and was like, let's start a recording studio. My dad's always, like, super into entrepreneurial stuff, and he was sick of me, like, trying to do things and never following through, and he was like, you know what? Like, go start it. I'll invest in it. And I was like, he's like, you could pay me back. So then all of a sudden, like, we found the building, and it came together, and I was like, at first I was like, there's no way I should do this. This is irresponsible. And then I saw the opportunity and I was just like, man, I'm not going to get another one of these. So we just hopped on
and
it.
It's right here in Petaluma, which is another reason why I wanted to hang out with you guys, because when and the reason why I even found out about you guys is that Tanner is an ultimate salesperson. Because, and I'll just kind of put your bio out there a little bit, because you're a vocal artist, a musician, and a producer, and that you're part of TempoBright, but you also work at Luther Burbank too.
Right.
You work there, and you also work at the Friedman Center doing production assistant and event technician work. And so he's in class, and we're all going through our our introductions, and he goes, by the way, go to TempoBright.com and
would not miss a chance to plug
It was
TempoBright.
hilarious. It was like, okay, let me look that up. And when I saw it was in Petaluma, that's when I went up to you after class and just said, can I hang out and just check out what you guys do? And it was kind of funny because the day I showed up, because it's kind of hard to find your building.
A little bit.
And so it's funny because I'm texting Tanner. It's like, I don't even know if I'm in the right place. And then I park and I said, it's almost like Cabin in the Woods kind of thing. It was a little creepy. I was like, okay, am I in the right place? But inside, it is amazing. It was really cool what you guys have put together. And and I don't know, my throat started closing up. So I think I started thinking about it because why don't you go ahead and share the history of the building? Because you said it's 100 years old.
Oh, wow.
And it's gone through several different things before it became a music studio. So what were some of those things beforehand?
It was originally a chicken coop in the 1940s, and then after that, I guess it was like a few different things, but one of them, it was a guitar factory. There was a semi-famous Japanese guitar maker, which I don't remember his name, but apparently, kind of a messed up part of the story is he got murdered later on.
What?
Whoa.
To share some of the creepier
that's
history of the building.
of Petaluma.
Wow.
A piece.
Yeah,
well, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I had Tom Wersch on the show, and he has a couple of movies called Haunted Sonoma County and Haunted Wine Country. So maybe, so he wasn't murdered in the building, though, was he?
No.
Okay.
At first we thought he was, and I thought about that a few times when I was there trying to work.
Then you need
it,
somebody
too.
like Katy to come in and
Yeah.
sage the place.
We have been sage. Shout out to Cause.
Cool.
But Katy, maybe you can talk to the late great guitarsmith.
Let's see what he has to tell you.
I'm worried about Wild Bill, man.
Wild Bill. Okay.
Now
Tell us
who's
who Wild
Wild
Bill
Bill?
is.
He was the neighbor at the place, and like one day I guess he died like recently since we got the place, because we showed up and the place was caution taped off.
Oh.
Anyway, his son came by to sell some stuff, and he gave Tanner, I think it was a...
he offered me some groovy shoes from the 70s, some platform shoes, and he was trying to pawn the whole outfit off of me, but I had to do it.
Wow.
So now we have Dead Man's Clogs dancing shoes in our studio, but it came with a really awesome Frank Zappa record.
Yeah, that actually bought at his garage sale.
Oh, okay.
That's worth it.
Wow. And for those of you just tuning in, you're listening to KPCALP 103.3 FM. I'm Naomi Takeuchi, the movie Muse, and we happen to be talking about music because I've been noticing that there's a lot of more hip-hop music in a lot of these new movies, too. And I'm just kind of curious about how, do you find that there's more people approaching you about putting beats together, and especially because of our film classes, that we've got these film classes where we're putting together, and in fact the Sonoma County Student Film Festival is coming up, and I was just curious, have you actively gone out, or have they come to you as far as looking at maybe some soundtracks for any of the local movies here?
Not locally. I have a family friend, and he works in Brazil as a movie producer. And he figured out that I did music, so I've been told, like, hey, I have this movie idea. I'm gonna send you this whole entire script line, this whole entire plot line. I want you to see if you can create something out of it. Tell me what you think of it, if you can or can't.
Right.
And then I also have another friend. He wants to become a game designer. He says, hey, I loved your one album you made. Can you make something similar to that, except for my game? I would send you some stuff for that. And so, like, I would say I find it increasingly, like, interesting that people are, either coming towards more into that, the hip-hop genre or even just the melodic types of it for a lot of influence, for a lot of, action. Even not even sometimes action, but even just, actual very emotional scenes to create these just environments that you can actually see.
And the tension that might happen, too, before, especially with creepy movies, right? When you see somebody, getting ready to walk around the corner and you get the tension of the music.
Oh, yeah. And you can wear the shoes.
We're back to the shoes. Well, I'm curious, too, about the Luther Burbank Center. And the reason why is I just found out, in fact, this is a hot tip from the Movie Muse, that we are giving away 2 tickets to see High Fidelity, which is going to be at the Luther Burbank Center on March 15th. I'm going to be out of town that day, but apparently 2 tickets are going to be given away on this show and 2 tickets on Dana Porteous's show. And we're still trying to figure out all the details, but I'm just curious, when somebody like a John Cusack comes to town, do you ever get a chance to interact with them? Just putting the lapel mic on them?
Yes, I do get a chance to interact with them. So you said earlier I was a production assistant and event tech.
Yes.
I'd like to clarify that. Excuse me. I'm a production assistant at the Luther Burbank Center and an event technician at the Friedman Center. So as a production assistant, what that really boils down to is, at least in my location, is doing a hospitality for the talent. So what I do is I get the writer that their tour manager sends in, and I go grocery shopping in the Safeway and Costco, pick up, Tony Bennett's prune juice and ZZ Top's health foods. And
actually, I did hear that, like, George Takei, he wants certain kind of blueberries, like they have to be Maine blueberries or not North Carolina blueberries. Yeah. So you go grocery shopping for the talent.
Nice.
Right.
And then you bring it to the studio for them, right?
Yeah, I bring it to the green room at the Luther Burbank Center. And I set it up. There's different dressing rooms, so I put each band member's goods in there, and then I just keep the place looking nice. I make coffee when coffee goes low, and just walk around and replenish the general snacks for the crew.
It's a very important job.
Yeah,
don't discount that job.
Yeah,
because, you want the talent to be happy. Well, I'm curious because John Cusack is coming to town March 15th.
Oh yeah.
I've already asked if maybe he could dial into the show the week before, because he won't be in town, I think, until Thursday night, because he's going to be performing on Friday night. But I'll be on a plane heading for the East Coast, so I'm going to miss him, unfortunately. So if you have any pull in that, you can just say, Naomi, the Movie Muse, would like to have John Cusack call in. We already have our station manager working with Luther Burbank, but hey, it's always good to have an inside person, right? Asking about that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, well, it's important not to, put pressure on these artists because they're already stressed going on tour. So, I would never be like, yo, check out my music.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but if I was driving an artist around and I were to play my music and they were to remark, say they like that, then I can be like, oh, really? That's me. Maybe we can work something out for you.
So do you have to, pick them up at the airport and do things like that, too?
I'm not a runner at this location. I have picked up Echo Smith, for example, when they were at the Levi's Grand Fondo this year.
Oh.
So yeah, that's what the runner does. Is they pick up the artists and they take the bus drivers to their hotel, and maybe go pick up a quick item from the grocery store if they have the time.
Yeah, we have a couple of runners that are part of Film Fest Petaluma, which is coming up soon in May.
Oh.
So we have several different producers and directors and artists and actors who come into town, so we have a chance. In fact, I got a chance to talk to Dean Cundy. I don't know if you know who Dean Cundy is, but he is the director of photography for Halloween. So he was here at Santa Rosa Junior College that Wednesday night for the Media 10 class, and he you get a chance to talk with some pretty cool industry people.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I've never met a celebrity that has been a diva or condescending in any way. People have been really chill.
No, they're really nice. Yeah, in general. Plus, we're in Sonoma County.
Right.
Just give them a glass of wine, and it's like, hey, okay, you feeling better now?
You're all right.
Well, I'm just curious. So now that you have the studio in place, it's been what, 3 months now that you've been starting up and
grand opening was like August 6th. Or October 6th. My bad.
Right. And so what are you looking for? So for people listening, if you want to maybe do some recordings there, or what would be some of the things that you would like people to consider using your facility for?
Recording, I mean, if you have any other ideas, like, it's also a rehearsal space, but we're pretty open. Like, if anyone has some idea that they want to come through, or if anyone just wants to come check the place out for a day and, like, hang out and collaborate before they decide to work with us, we're pretty open to, like, everything, really.
I think a major draw to TempoBright is it has great vibes there, first of all, but you know, we don't have an unlimited budget. We're not going to have those multiple $1,000 you know, outboard equipment, but we do have 16 channels. We do have good microphones, and we have a great space to record. And we also have affordable rates, so especially if this is, you know,
you're brand new.
If you're trying to be on the come up, then come check us out, because we only do $35 an hour for recording and $15 per hour for rehearsal.
Right, and then also, since you can create your own music, I would imagine that if there are some film producers here who need a soundtrack, that you guys could also create original music too, right? Like KPCA Beats.
We would absolutely love to work. Me and Tanner, and I think Walter too, have always been into video games, so the opportunity to do like a video game soundtrack would be awesome. I would love that.
Definitely.
Also, it doesn't have to be music. If you want to record, like, say, a commercial or
PSA, public service announcement.
Yeah. And if you come to us with the code KPCAB, we'll give you a free hour.
Whoa! You heard it right here on the Movie Muse. So you say KPCA Beats. So how would they do that? Would they call your website, or would they send you an email, or how would you like that done?
Make a call our business line,
which is on the TempoBright.com website.
It's on the website.
Yeah. So TempoBright.com, and they're located right off of North Petaluma Boulevard.
Right, we're on 3211 Petaluma Boulevard, right across from the Outlet Mall.
Right next to Lombardi's Sandwich Shop.
Yeah, I was going to say to just go past Lombardi's, go past the goat farm, and then go up the hill, and then you're right there. Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun hanging out with you guys. And so what are you guys planning to do next? As far as I know, you said you have an album you already cut, and you got another album on the way, or?
I'm almost done with it. I got, I think, 5 tracks for this one, and I'm thinking about, you know, maybe moving a few, and I might just do an EP, you know, just put out like 4 songs and just leave it like that. And I'm hopefully trying to get that out by March, and hopefully by the end of February I have all the songs edited, mixed and mastered, and cut by then have, you know, I'll send it out to my my publishing company that I use, and have those sent out by then.
Wow, so you're well on your way already. That's great. And then the two of you are going to continue with TempoBright, and because are you graduating soon, or what are your I know that I'm in the class with Tanner and with Walter that 5032 is usually like the keystone end of the project, so I'm getting my certificate.
Yay!
Yay!
Finally!
I better if I pass the class.
Oh God!
Same here. That's what I'm going for, is my audio certificate. And like Awa, I also release my own personal music, beats and tracks, you know, that I rap and sing on. And that's just under my artist name, which is also my real name, Tanner Samples, and I post to SoundCloud.
Oh, okay. And then, what about you, Alex?
I got an album I'm working on. It's coming along slow because I'm learning how to do pretty much every part of the process myself. But it's kind of like gonna be, the theme of it is like a journey from like the party life to the dark side of the party life, and then back to balance again.
Yeah, our other engineer, Aaron, he very much wants Alex to call his mixtape Kratom Raps.
Well, we were also talking, since Katy's in the room, we were also talking about doing a psychic reading for one of you guys. Who wants the psychic reading? Because we have time for, I think, one.
Who wants to shuffle a card?
I'm down.
Okay, let's go for it. And Alex is the entrepreneur, so let's go for this. Is so Alex happy.
Oh man, Tanner is too. I just couldn't let him.
How much
invest
time do
yet
we have?
'cause it's a
Well,
bad
we
investment.
have right now 7 minutes.
Oh yeah, we could do
So
a
I
real
think
quick
we
one.
could do a quick one for.
Pick 3 cards.
So for those of you who are on Facebook Live, you can see that Katy's in the corner here, and she just passed her deck of cards over to Alex, and he's picking out 3 cards. Now, why don't you explain the deck that while he's doing that, the deck that you're using?
It's the Medicine Women Tarot deck, and it's by, I believe, Miss Bridges. And I forget her first name, Carol or Lynn Bridges. Anyway, Miss Bridges, she did this deck, and they are based on male-female energy and which brings in balance, and also
they're not as evil.
Yeah, they don't have
not a
knives
lot
in
of
your heart,
knives,
you know?
and
No
bloody.
Yeah, no hangman. Yeah.
And I'm thinking you even have a death card. In
There
right?
is a death card,
Oh,
but
okay.
see here. Oh, perfect. You picked a death card.
Oh, you picked the death
I
card?
always pick the
So
deck.
you
Oh
got the
my
death
God!
card.
Did he
but
really
see,
pick
here's
the
what the
called
death
Sunset?
card. Yeah.
Here,
so
let me hold it up
it's
to the camera.
It's not the old writer deck that everybody or when you see the old deck, it's
Right.
blood and guts.
Exactly.
What she does is she mixes the Native American and Hawaiian figures.
Okay.
So
Well,
it's much
we
gentler.
have about 6 minutes, so let's
So
go
say
for
your
this.
name just 3 times for me, first and last.
Alex happy, Alex happy, Alex happy.
Okay.
You're witnessing it here on the movie Muse.
Okay, so your first card is 2 of bowls, and it's 2 people holding a conch shell. So in conch shell, they use it to announce, to sometimes tell of people coming after them, or just to celebrate. And so this is your male-female side coming together to do better in your music, or not even better, but do more. And that conch shell is your music or your voice coming out.
That would make sense.
The second card is the 7 of Stones, and that is a woman carrying a basket to a hut. And there what that says for you is you're gathering information, gathering things to help your life and your business. Is that's what you don't really care about your house. I don't think. So that's good. Those are good things. But you're also coming to the end of something, and that was that death card. And
Sunset.
So it's sunset. So it's, say your name one more time.
Alex happy?
Yeah. Okay. So it's funny that your name's Happy because that's a death card, but it's like you're always happy, I would bet, and not always, mainly, but you're coming to the end of a section of your life where and also your business, where it's. Pull one more card up and show me what it is. Show it to me. No, put that one there and pull one more.
Yeah, she always picks 4 cards. And what was weird is she did this reading for me twice, and I picked 2 of the same cards. So when you said you always pick the death card, that doesn't surprise me. That it was really very bizarre because I think mine had like an eagle soaring or something.
Yeah.
So you have the 7 of arrows.
So what that's saying is the end. This is the end. This death card is showing that you're done with this section of your life, meaning wherever you were, you're going to come into. This is showing that you're with other people of like mind. So you're going to be new people. You're going to be moving up.
I was going to say it sounds exactly like
it's
what
exactly
you're doing
what
with
you're
your
doing.
entrepreneurial
So
stuff. So this
you're
is the
doing
end of
good.
your psychiatrist life?
And you're going to be
That you
able
already
to
decided
let go
about?
of all that.
Yeah,
What you thought you wanted. Does that make sense?
Cool.
If I may, speak. The sunset, to me is, it's not the death, but the end of the day, and you always have the sunrise the next morning to look forward to.
Yeah, great.
That's right.
Great.
That's right.
Yeah. Do we
That's
have any more time?
wonderful. We have about 2.5 minutes, so
Anybody else?
anybody wants to do it, it'd be really quick. Otherwise, we could just keep talking about your beat because I do want to reiterate. You heard earlier, if you say KPCA beats, at TempoBright, you get what, a 1 hour recording for free? Is that what you said?
We'll knock 1 hour off of your session.
So 1 hour off your session. So if you get like 3 hours, you know, that's a huge discount. That's a 30% or 33 and a half, a third discount. Yeah.
It's a good beginning.
A good beginning, right? Or you want to do a voiceover, you know, using your equipment, or
do a commercial.
Or we can do our hip hop rap on top of KPCA beats.
Yes.
Would be.
Also, if you follow our Facebook, we often have events at the studio where anyone's free to just come, show up, bring an instrument or whatever, art supplies, or just come hang out and talk to everybody and see.
You know what? When I was at Berkeley,
you
know what one of the instruments was that a lot of people would play? They'd take a jar and they'd fill it with popcorn. And then they just shake the jar.
Nice.
That would be something that everybody could participate.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's true.
So then that way, if you felt like, no, I don't play an instrument, it's like, well, here's a jar of popcorn. You just shake that, and then you're done.
Yeah, I'll bring my violin.
Oh, you're awesome.
You play violin?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. I'll have to bring my
flute? No.
Actually, I did play flute a long time ago. I don't have one anymore, but I do have a guitar.
Oh, yeah.
And I also have a keyboard, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I'll have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
We'll have to
Fun
go
stuff.
visit the party.
Yeah, I really like that.
Okay, so do you get this all queued up? We'll play it one more
and
time.
I also just want to drop the TempoBright phone number if you have your paper out. It's 707-200-3283, 707-200-3283.
And you can find my music on Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, and that's going to be AwaBeats. That's AWABEATS.
Great. Well, once again, Walter, or Awa, Alex, Tanner, Katy, thank you for being on the show. This is Naomi Takeuchi, the Movie Muse. See you at the next screening, and stay inspired.
Yeah. So I'm on the radio, I guess you could say I made it, yo. They didn't pay me though. I said that's okay. I'm so happy to be here. I feel like Alex. Yo, check out my SoundCloud and you get some samples. That's Tanner.
Okay, thank you.